Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I'm going to share this with you because I was procrastinating last week and I was like, I wonder if I can make my own Dusk colors. So there are some colors out by Van Gogh. There's 4 new colors. They'll look like that, and that. They granulate beautifully and they're like a bright mixed with the black. And the black they use is PBK 11. So I was wondering if I had any blacks that had PBK 11. And I seem to think I didn't in the Intense Watercolor from Renaissance. And sure enough, number 69 Mars Black is made with PBK 11. And that is a very granulating, sooty black color. So I thought I would try mixing it with some of my, some of the colors that I have. I just looked at the, Van Gogh colors to see what other pigments were in their mixes. And I was able to duplicate them and look at the gorgeous texture. Now this is on cotton watercolor paper. Hopefully the camera will pick that up, just this gorgeous specks of texture in there. And just the way the colors just kind of break apart. It's just so pretty. And then you can make this with whatever color you want. So if you want to make rocks, if you want to paint rocks like granite or cement or great for landscapes and things like that. Anytime you want that really gritty, gorgeous texture, it almost looks like, I don't know, almost looks like you had a piece of ice and somebody smashed it and you had all this fracturing going on. So gorgeous. I'm going to show you how to do it. You can pan this color up. I have a pan of it and it re-wet fine. But because it's kind of a special effects thing, you might just want to get a tube and hang on to it. Now this is the Mars Black. This is $7. My friend April Mathis owns Renaissance. A little shop. She doesn't own Renaissance. She owns a little creative on Etsy and she is the American seller of Renaissance paint. So this is $7. The retail of Daniel Smith Lunar Black, which is the same pigment, is like $17. You can get it cheaper online at different sites, but still the cheapest you're going to find it is around 10 or 11 bucks. So this is $7. I would definitely recommend that. And I'm going to use some of her pan paints just to, I used Turner watercolors with those, but I'll just use her pan paints with these just to show you how to do it. It's very simple. What you want to do is you want to go for bright colors. Like I thought, ultramarine blue, because that's a really granulating color, that if I mixed it with this Mars Black, which is really granulating, I would get a super granulating color, but it didn't. What works best, I mean, it's okay, it granulates a bit. It was more on this paper here. The thing that seems to really make it stand out and look great is using a more transparent dye-like color with with this black. So like using something like your quinacridone or a phthalo blue or something like that, like a dioxazine violet, something that's got more of a dye-like ability is going to give you a better result. In fact, I bet inks would work really well with this too. So it's kind of like a some magic in a tube here. Of course, any paint that's got PBK 11, pigment black 11 as their pigment is going to work for this. So you check your stash first, and if you don't have it, then you know what to look for. So I'm just going to take this and make a few puddles because you know watercolor, right? You don't need a lot to get a big impact. So we can do 6 different colors here. Scrape off the extra. All right, so we want bright colors. Let's go with like a phthalo blue here. And I like this because you can make whatever you want. And you want a good amount of water because that's going to help the pigment settle out. Okay, so you want real juicy paint. And don't skimp on the pigment. Don't skimp on the black because that's going to settle out and that's what's going to give you the look. And let's do like a mauve or magenta, something that's really bright. And this will work on, this is a rough paper, and it worked fine on a rough paper. Sometimes your granulation gets almost overcome by how rough a paper is, whereas a smooth paper, the paints can just kind of do their thing and settle out the way they want. So a really rough paper will almost trap some of the pigments away from each other. So you can experiment with different papers to see what you like the effect of the best, and also papers that have a lot of sizing are going to give you a better effect because that's going to keep the staining colors from absorbing in. Add a little more water to that. Let's see how that one goes. Well, I showed you dry samples anyway, but this is how you want to paint it on, really juicy. So this is going to be best, and look, you can see the phthalo already starting to crack apart and split. So pretty. Let's see what else. We could do a phthalo green, would be really pretty. Let's see, where's a phthalo green? Oh, right here. And any brand of watercolor, just go for your more translucent colors. Add your more translucent colors to that Lunar Black or the Mars Black from Renaissance. Just check your tubes. You might have a tube that's going to work. I don't know if all Mars Black uses PBK11. That's why you really just got to check your tubes. And let's see, we have one or two more colors. We have two more colors we can do. I'm just looking here and seeing what looks really vibrant, which would be pretty. Oh, you know what? I think that green gold would look really cool. Let's try that. Ooh, I think that one's going to be really interesting. I think I need maybe a smidge more water in there. Really want to soak that up. So if you were doing like, if you were doing water, like ocean water that's really churny, you know, you could just set it and forget it and come back and you'll see those kind of rivulets thready rivulets created on their own, which I think is very exciting. Let's see if we have a nice crisp red that we could use. I bet this, I think this magenta, it's not magenta, kind of like a permanent rose would work pretty well. That's very transparent. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work really well. So how fun is that, to give you just something else to play with in your watercolor practice? So what I think I'm going to do is, let's really load that up. Let this dry, and then we can come back and see what we have. I'm wondering if I have another, I want to try one of these on regular watercolor paper too. Let's see if I can pick up, oh hell, you know, let's pick up a few. I'll mix some together. Get some yellow in there too. Just don't want to waste anything, right? We don't like to waste. You don't want to heat dry these either. You just want to let them sit, because if you start blowing them with a heat tool, you're going to lose, it's going to dry the way it is. You don't want to do that. You want to let it kind of do its own thing. I don't think I'm going to get I didn't seem to get blooming on this either. Even if I had a puddle, it just seemed to let the stuff settle out. I think because it's the Lunar Black or the Mars Black is so heavy that it doesn't like to split out. So let's just let this dry, and we'll be back when it's dry and I'll show you the results. Okay, it's a couple hours later. I left and made some dinner and whatnot. And I think my Turner paints actually did a better job granulating with the Renaissance Mars Black than the Renaissance pan paints did, but you can definitely still see the effect. That you didn't get back runs even where there was a puddle, you just got more of that black color concentrated there. The mix was just kind of underwhelming. It didn't really do any granulating goodness. Could be the paper, could be the colors mixed together. Maybe it was overworked. I don't know. But then it got me to thinking, what about using some granulation medium with this paint? And then I think I'll go back to the Turner colors just because I got a better granulation with the Turner colors. And then I also thought, what about using the Mars Black? Because it seems to work really well when you had really, really transparent colors. What about using that with some water-based ink? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do those experiments, and then I'll let it dry overnight because it's nighttime now, and then we'll come back and take a look at it later. I think I'll just scoot ahead a couple pages here. This is fine. And let's see. Let's just write ink plus black. Now let's do G medium. And then I also have salt water, because before I bought granulation medium, I was wondering how salt water would affect my paints, and I really liked the effect. It was really vibrant, more granulating, and just kind of fun. So I just keep some really, really saturated salt water, because, you know, hey, why would I throw away something that costs like literally, you know, 5 cents to make? Because I don't want to make it again, because I'm lazy. All right, so salt water. I feel like I'm in school doing a science fair project. Okay, so I got a palette here. Let's first do the ink plus the black. Let's just pick 4 colors. And since ink is really transparent, I shouldn't need, I'll just do randomly 4 colors. I'll we'll just pick 4, I guess. Why not? Because this will be cool, you know? I mean, if you work with ink, then this might be a new way to get some, you know, get some new effects. So we've got a pinkish color, we've got a blue, let's do a green. Gosh, I haven't used these in ages. Do they smell anymore? They don't smell anymore. These are so if you have the Jane Davenport inks and you didn't, and the smells were bothersome to you, well, they don't seem to smell anymore. So maybe I'll do a really light brown. I'm glad the droppers are still good. Sometimes ink droppers go bad after a while. When those haven't, all right, so I'm just gonna put a little dab of this in each little, I think that's probably more than I need, but I want a nice big swatch. And I'm just going to give them a little spritz of water. I hate this sprayer. I know it's a strong word. I'm very passionate about this sprayer. I got to find my good one. All right, need a brush. We're just going to use watercolor brush because this is water-based pigment. All right, let's mix this up well. Ooh, ooh, get out of there. Get out of there. Interloper. Ink interloper. All right. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. I want to just, oh, that's pretty, man. You probably can't really see it on camera, but I bet when it dries in the morning, we come down and take a gander, it's going to look real good. I feel like, you know what? I'm going to save that. I can live with my salt water. Let's see, we'll do this one. This is probably, well, you know, I don't know if it's too much black because it seems like those dusk colors that I was swooning over, but convinced myself not to buy because I have the pigments I can mix myself. They were very black, it seemed like. They had a lot of black in them. And I like this because you can control how much you want, right? You don't have to settle for what the manufacturer wants to give you. I don't have the Lunar Black from Daniel Smith though, so if anybody wants to test that out and then let me know how it goes, that would be great. It's so funny. It's like black paint. I always feel like, oh, why would I want to buy black paint? You know, I just mix my blacks. But something like this where it's got like an interesting property, I think is very cool. I just like these colors, man. I would just use these colors. I mean, ink is not light fast, but if I was using it in a sketchbook or something, it's awfully pretty. So pretty. So I didn't have a lot of water. You saw how much I sprayed on there. It's mostly just the ink and the paint. Okay, so there's our ink and Renaissance black. You know what I want to do? I want to do other swatches, but I'm going to add more water. I'm going to make a mess of this palette. That's all right. That way I can use it the rest of it. I won't have to store this forever. Oh, sprayer. I wish this sprayer worked better. Okay. So we'll do some diluted swatches over here. See what I can fit. I'm still going to have some left over. I might have to like put something on this to weigh it down because otherwise it's going to, but I don't feel like I have much black in that at all. Although those inks are very vibrant. So yeah, they're definitely muted. Man, that turquoise, that is so pretty. I need to use these inks more in a sketchbook so that way I don't have to worry about if they fade or not. Because sketchbooks close, because they won't really fade in a sketchbook because you keep your sketchbook closed. You know, and I mean, you might prop it open and look at it for a few days after you do a painting. All right, that's good. I should get a clip and clip that down. Because, oh, look at that. Oh, you know, I think the water really helps. I'm going to grab a couple little clips behind. I got to show you what I really like here. This is a bargain too. You get 6 of them for $1. These rubberized clips, I really like them from the Dollar Tree. And they sell them with like this, actually, you know where I usually see them in the cash line where you go to pay, the cash out line. Those impulse things. I think they also have them in the office supplies section. But, good grief, dropping them all over the place. They're also really handy if you do beading because you can clip them on the end of your wires. And it doesn't crimp your wires, but it will keep them, it'll keep it like your beads from falling off. So, they're a product pick. Dollar Tree. Clippies, rubberized clippies. Okay, now we're going to try the granulation medium, which I've got some right here. And it says, for best results, to dilute your paint with the granulation medium. Do I have a pipette? Good grief. Do I? You know what, I'm just going to take a brush. I think, and get some, well, no, you know what? I'm just going to pour some out to here and then I can dip. That would make the most sense. All right. And I'm going to use my Turner watercolors because in our previous swatches, the Turner watercolors did a much better job at giving me the granulation than the Renaissance. I'm not sure why. Maybe I think the Turners are a little bit more transparent, and it could have been like I had the pigment information handy for the Turners, so I knew what colors were going to be really good for that. So how am I running out of space? I don't know. I just had a clean table before I begun this adventure. Okay, we gotta slide things out of the way. You don't need to see that anymore. All right, so we got our palette here. I am gonna spray this with a miserable spray bottle and get the colors that I need, that I already tested that worked pretty good for granulation. We got Quin Magenta. That one is really good. So I'm just adding enough water to get it out of the pans. Then I'll add I keep wanting to say lunar black because that's probably more common, more common color for people. Oh, and let's just do the granulation medium first, then we'll do the salt water. Let's see, I think I used Pthalo green for one of the swatches. That's a nice color. I'm pretty sure, let's see if I can tell what yellow I used. I think it was medium yellow, pretty sure. And we'll do Pthalo blue, because I did ultramarine blue, but I wasn't no, dioxazine violet. That was the other color that was like the Dusk colors. That's right here. Okay, so these colors are non-granulating, very transparent. The yellow is probably the least transparent of the mix. And then we need our black. Maybe if I use this up, I'll buy the Daniel Smith and see how it goes. I'm just taking out tiny little bits. Okay, now I need to add granulation medium, so what I want to do is I'm just going to pick it up with my brush and add it to each thing so I don't dry my brush off too, so I don't get extra. I want to use it up though. I don't have another project for it right away, so I don't want it to just dry my palette. I want to actually use it up. This is actually, we have lost the realm of a scientific experiment here. All right, so let's just mix it up and see what we got. Oh my gosh, it's so silty. Oh, I forgot about that. You know, I totally forgot that when you use the granulation medium, I clean my brush, I get more of this. When you use a granulation medium, I forgot how silty it looks. That's probably why I haven't used it much, because it looks very sandy. And I over diluted it, I think. Okay, let's try this. Oh man, I over diluted it. It's not going to be vibrant. Shoot. Let's get some more yellow. Yeah, you can already see it going very silty in the palette. You know what? Let's do the next ones. Okay, I'm wiping my brush off. Let's just get the black and mix that right into the... So much for trying to save product, I end up almost ruining my experiment. My non-scientific experiment here. I don't know if this is really going to do anything. It doesn't look that promising. I don't know if the ink's going to do anything either. This maybe would just be a waste of time and materials. But at least you haven't wasted your materials. If you've been curious about this, at least you will know. Right? That's worth something. Alright, last but not least, I'll get this one swatched out. Is anyone still watching this? Is it completely boring? Alright, well, you know, we got enough, because like those two ended up being the saturation that I wanted, so I think that's alright. That's a pretty good, it'll give us some idea. Perhaps the fun about like painting is just kind of experimenting anyway. All right, so I am going to wipe that out because I have no use for that. That's going to dry out before I even get a chance to use it. All right, so the last thing I want to try is salt water. And apparently I don't really need that much. Oh my gosh, you know what? I might not be trying salt water because I don't know if I can open this. Holy cow. I'm going to get one of my kids to open this. Oh my gosh. Does this canning jar seal itself? It's probably all corroded from the salt water. All right, I'll be back in a second. New plan, I'm going to make some fresh because I can't get that lid off. So, that's all right. I'll just add a few. This is so unscientific. Good grief. Let's see if I can spray this with my awful sprayer. Oh, come on. It's getting late too, so if, like, my patience is kind of non-existent. Okay, we're going to do our black. I could see this going through some serious blacks. You do need quite a bit. I think the proportion of pigments is almost 50-50, like black to color, to get that granulation goodness. All right, let's start with our magenta. Mix it up with the salt. The salt is not dissolving very well. Oh, well, you know, maybe it is. I don't know. This probably, well, we'll see. I don't want to, like, I don't want to put bad vibes. It's like a plant. You got to talk to it nicely for it to grow. So I've heard. We'll see. I wish I could have got my salt water open. A nice aged salt water there. Okay, next up we've got our Pthalo green. This is not dissolving. This may or may not be any different than what we were doing before. Shoot, I really should have. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna end up with like the little salt effects because it's not, the granules are not dissolving. Well, if I ever do get that, you know, I found the salt water worked really well back when I did a Statue of Liberty painting. Oh, what color was I gonna add to that? The salt water worked really well for granulating. If a color looks too black, don't count it out yet because when the colors separate, it looks more vibrant like the original. And then purple, that was the other one. Dioxazine violet. It looks like the salt was dissolving a little bit better there. I did find that salt water, I did an experiment with that on my channel. I did the same painting, one with fresh water, one with salt water, and I got a really nice effect with the salt water. I got it was more vibrant. The colors were much more vibrant. It was very interesting. So I can see some stuff happening already, but that could just be the paint. We'll have to compare it with the original tomorrow morning when I compare my samples. All right, well that's it for tonight. We will let this stuff dry and see how it turns out in the morning. Good news, the granulating paint saga can continue. Look at that gunk around the lid. My super strong husband was able to open that up for me so I could try some proper salt water in the mix here. So I'm gonna, ooh, look at what it does in the paint. So we're gonna add some of that to our defunct saltwater experiment here. I don't want to do too much. Oh, yeah, saltwater is pretty magical. Oh, I need more pigment though. Where's my black? I'm wasting my paint so you don't have to. So this will be interesting. I think, well, maybe it won't. Will anybody watch this? Who knows? Who can say? Alright, so let's give that a try. I'm feeling hopeful about this. So this is salt water. We'll do 4 swatches, 4 swatcheroonies. Do some of the yellow. Ooh, it's like granulating already. Oh, I'm making a mess. This is better than watching CNN, which I've been previously glued to, or scrolling Facebook, which the world's gone mad. This is much better. Wasting paint is much healthier than watching any of that business. Oh, great. Look at that. And of course, it's where my pink swatch is going to go, so I'm going to totally end up with mud. Still better than scrolling Facebook. All right. And we will get our magenta. And we will add it to salt water. I don't know. I think it's going to do some cool stuff. I'm trying to go... This is like the most, I don't know, worst swatch ever. I don't have any room. Oh, it's doing some good stuff though. You know, sorry green. I'm just going to load the paint. You're going to be obliterated, green. Well, do we want... I feel like I want some more yellow in there. Let's get some more of that. Let's clean up that wet yellow in the middle and add it to our saltwater masterpiece. There's no well, no. Yeah, there's control groups. You can see my regular swatches on my swatch cards, I guess. Holy cow. I feel like I need to put like something heavy in the middle to weigh that down. What can I use? I can use my awful sprayer. You will henceforth be known as the awful sprayer. Awful sprayer. That's what you get for being an awful sprayer. Let's add a little more purple though. You get back where you belong. Purple paint. It's late. Punchy. But I was like, no, I've got to do this. I owe it to my people to do a proper test. I gotta think of something else for because my lid, look at that, it's all like rusty and corroded because I had that with a metal jar. I need to buy a plastic jar lid. Might have to transfer my salt water to a plastic container or just dump it out and make new next time I need it. Well, for now, I'm putting this back on. I'll just have Jason unscrew it again for me if I need to. Oh, I don't know. I probably shouldn't keep that. All right, so guys, we're gonna let this dry and see what delights await us in the morning. All right, friends, we are in the last installment of our granulating paint saga here. So last night we did the ink and the Mars Black. I really like that because you get the really brilliant color from the ink, and then you've got the granulation from the Mars Black, which is PBK 11, same as Lunar Black. If you're it's been a long time for me. You've just been watching this all in one go probably, so you're like, yeah, Lindsay, we can follow along. This was the more diluted samples, which you got more of a diluted effect. But I really like those. Those came out really nice. Now over here we had the Turner watercolors with granulation medium. I don't think they were any better than the Turner watercolors and just oh, good grief. Where did I swatch those? They were in this book. Ah, right there. I actually think the Turner watercolors with the black on their own were better than with the granulation medium. And then I did salt water, which was like I couldn't find my salt. I couldn't open my salt water, so I used regular salt. And it's about the same as the just the Turner watercolors and the Lunar Black. And then Jason opened my salt water for me, and I mixed the salt water in, and they didn't really do anything too spectacular. So I would say that adding granulation medium or salt water does not help the granulating effect of the PBK 11 pigment with your colors. I say it works best with very transparent dye-based watercolors or inks. Works beautiful with inks. And yeah, it's a fun experiment. I really was happy with the way it went. This was with the other Renaissance paints. It seems to work with any sort of paint. Just make sure your black is PBK 11 for get that really sooty granulation. It was a fun experiment, and I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed these type of science-y, chemistry, watercolor experiments, and experience of experiments, if you will. And maybe I'll make some more of them. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crafting.